After that incident with the, let me just, my notes here. After the incident with Darren Albert, I was falsely arrested. And then we come around to the latter part of October.
Yes.
When Mayor Daley informed Mary Mitchell, you know, the sister from the Serpentines.
Serpentines.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because she's a serpent sister.
Yes,
she
ma'am.
spits plenty of venom, you know. And for that reason, she suffers today. Because she chose not to turn from her wicked ways.
Yes.
But he sent her to do a character assassination.
High-tech lynching.
Yeah.
High-tech lynching.
Exactly.
She's an expert at that.
Oh, well, she thought she was expert, you know, but God also gave her a chance to redeem herself, and she chose not to. So she's not sick, people. She suffers because
For the wrong
God
she's done.
chooses for her.
For the wrong
For
she's
the
done.
wrong she's done. And the alderman, too. She is now suffering.
Yes, she's
And
suffering.
I don't understand how she thinks that she can make the constituents of the 34th Ward suffer and think that she's not going to be made to suffer herself. As if the God I serve is a punk. Not this big black God. And I say that on the strength of the Almighty God, the angels and the ancestors who govern me, who protect me, who guide me. So when you come for me, I need you to know who you're coming for and who you're messing with.
Excuse me. Have you gotten any assistance from Operation Push, Jesse Jackson's organization of the Nation of Islam, in your pursuit of goodwill?
Let me share with you. It was I that initiated the march with the parents out of Vergil to take the stand against Finger and against the system. Remember, Jesse is the same individual that moved in and was up at 6 o'clock in the morning. The morning we left, we lost Cat Daddy, Mike Scott, hollering, there's no fraud.
Wow.
The super duper Negro represents fraud.
Yes.
I mean, and if you look back and down history, everything that he does benefits the Jacksons and Jesse. He has not done anything that is truly beneficial to the people. And even when he got in the middle to separate myself from the parents, we had to call Al Sharpton in at that point to mediate the situation because it was really about to get ugly. And he didn't do any of the necessary legal work as he had promised. It was just a matter of, again, divide and conquer. And they don't have to, they don't need to do it themselves. They've got one of us. And I just say that because that's what we have in common. The skin we're in, it's the same color. But my skin folk is not all my kinfolk.
Because you're my color don't mean you're my kind.
You're my kind. And I know you're not my kind when you're not kind to me, because I come in peace and love. And you'll come to find out to know me is to love me. But a lot of time when they see me, I'm expressing this genuine, unconditional love that I truly have for black people, my people. And I'm proud of it, you know, and I don't deny it.
I want to ask you a question. I know what part of this problem is. When Mayor Washington was the mayor of the city, he had an intervention program. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
Did they have all this killing in the schools?
No.
And who was running those programs?
Well,
the regular, everyday brother who could relate to the brother who did not stand above them, all right? Because they understood. I remember once when I was doing social work over 30 years ago, and I was heading in a community meeting, and back in the back was sitting Malik or Jeff Ford. And the people were talking about how they wanted their kids back, and he had taken their kids. I knew who was sitting back there, but they didn't know him when they saw him. So finally I said, Mr. Ford, would you tell these people how they can get their kids back from you? And he said two things that have lived in infamy of time ever since. He said, all they have to do is what I do. I give them some attention, and I make them feel like they somebody.
Wow.
And I never forgot that.
Let me share. everything in the world wants to feel free as they continue to trap us within this bondage, and everything on earth wants to be loved. And that's why I can go on any points. I can go nationally because I come in peace,
Yes.
in love. I don't lie to them. If I don't know, I tell them, baby, I don't know, but together we can find out, and we're going to work it out.
So what do we do to solve this problem in our community?
First you have to be aware, you know, and I say that simply because, let me share. Again, March was a busy month. We had a very hunky-dory white man, courageous because it took strength and courage,
Yes.
on 99th in Fairview, over in Mount Greenwood, put a very racial
The noose
sign
up in
out
the tree.
and a noose.
And a noose.
A itty-bitty noose sending the message that you've resulted to itty-bitty black people. I'm not going to use the other word.
Whose ward was that?
I don't know whose ward it is, but let me tell you, we are in the
tell
same.
you.
Let me see. We are in the same police precinct.
Ginger Roo
So
guy.
let me just share. When they locked me up at Tavis Smiley Black Agenda
Yes.
event, because we are in the same precinct, myself and this white man, this Irish precinct, the 22nd precinct, the most racist precinct in the city on Monterey. That's not what it was about. They locked me up for going over there and stepping to Mr. Hunky Dory about the yard art.
Yeah.
It was appalling because when I got there wasn't an orange, apple, banana, or bow tie on the block. I cannot respect men that take orders and instruction from another man. You have to have something within you, in yourself, to be willing to move for yourself for the sake of another individual that's part of yourself. And I'm speaking of your children, you know, your child. If you can't do it for self, then we got to do it for them. If you don't have children, then do it for the cause. Do it on the strength of the people.
Well, I want to make you aware of something. Part of the problem, and we should demand that they tell us how many checks they print from the superintendent to the last policeman hired.
Well,
And I'll guarantee you this. I'll bet you don't have actually 7,000 uniform officers in the whole city of Chicago. You know why? Because when you subtract the 1,500 detectives, all right, and don't be tricked by that little phrase, we're budgeted for 13,500 policemen.
no, that's a farce.
All
I
right.
mean, the governor and the budget, period, period is a farce. And I say this, people.
Let me point out my point to
Okay,
you. then.
point out your point.
The point
'cause
is,
we're running out of time.
when we get to that, we go down that road, and we find out that when you divide that by 25 police districts, all right? 25. And you're talking about, after you deal with the specialized units and et cetera, about 6,000 policemen. So you really don't have but about 200 and some policemen in every district. You divide that by 3 different shifts, and you really only end up with what? About 80 police officers out there at any point in time. How are you going to stop
But it
in a
doesn't
community
matter.
in a community that has 60,000 people? How are you going to protect the people?
Let me share.